Welcome back for another video tutorial brought to you by GraphicDesignerTips.com. This is Steve, and today we're going to be speaking about how to create a professional looking banner in Adobe Illustrator. This is actually a web banner, but honestly this artwork can really be used for any type of printing banner because the image is a 300 resolution image. The first thing I want to point out is this image in the background is a stock image that I purchased through my own account that I have with iStock Photo. The images aren't cheap if you're looking for a good image, but they are affordable in some cases. They can go from a couple bucks to a couple $100. So I've yet to spend over $100 on an image or over $50 on an image, but I've spent close to $50 on images that just are really good dynamic images. And obviously that's something that you're going to put in your charges for your client if you're doing something like this and they absolutely want this image, because in some cases the client might want to pick their own images. Say they really want this image, you got to give them a heads up and say, listen, this image is $40, and then you just add that to the cost of the project. So I want to show you is, if I come down here, this image is the original thumbnail that I grabbed off of iStock Photo, and it has a watermark on it, so you obviously cannot do anything with it. It's 72 resolution, so if you could just see the quality of the image below and the quality of the image above. Obviously when I purchased it, I purchased a higher quality one, and I purchased a higher quality one because before we did this banner, I did business cards and a flyer for the same client. So I purchased a 300 resolution image because 300 resolution is the minimum that you should be using when you know something is going to be going to print. So I purchased this before, so all I had to do is, instead of repurchasing it at a lower file, at a lower quality size, I actually just was able to, I'll show you at the end of this tutorial how we could save this for web, so it turns everything into 72 resolution. So when it goes to the web, you're going to have no issues with file size, color conversions, and stuff like that. Adobe Illustrator has a great feature of saving for web as opposed to just saving a file. So this was the original file, and then I pulled this into Photoshop and did a lot of extras on it, obviously flipping it. If you see on the image below, and this isn't a Photoshop tutorial, but just to give you an idea what the structure is of this. I mean, besides artwork, I mean, if you've ever taken anything apart, I mean, that's the easiest way of knowing how to put something back together. In this case, it's a good thing that I'm able to show you things that are complete, because I didn't really have this for a long time until I got a job at an ad agency, and then they started teaching me how to pull things apart and just really analyze everything. And at first, actually, it was kind of bothering me because it was like a wax on, wax off thing, and it was like, what the hell is this? I'm doing this stuff every single day. It's monotonous over and over. So, but then I learned so much from it in the long run that I continue to do that today, and it's not boring anymore because I know every time I do it, I'm going to learn something new, and I'm going to be able to apply it to something either personal or for a client of mine, and that's a good thing because when you do good work for people, you're going to get referrals. Hopefully. So it depends on how good you are in business networking and trying to get your name out there too. So let's come back to this file. I'm going to show you a couple of things that make this up, this web banner. This is a web banner. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but this did go on a website that was up for some time, and there's a couple things that make it up. And the first thing I want to do is, since we're speaking about that image still, I want to come up here to Window Links to show you that this image is actually linked. Okay, if we double click this, I can see the exact path of where it is, and this thing is going slow. Here we go. It shows part of the location. I could also search for the image to find out where it is, but it is a linked image, which means when I save this document as an AI file, which for those of you who don't know that, it's an Adobe Illustrator, and if you don't know that, you probably shouldn't be watching this tutorial. You should go back to my tutorial on starting a new document. But when you save the file, it's going to condensed, not condensed, but the file is going to be a smaller file because of the fact that you have an image that is not embedded. You have an image that's linked, because when you use embedded images, they tend to, it's cramming all the information into the document, as opposed to linking where it pulls it into the document from another source. So it makes complete sense. If you guys have any questions on that, don't hesitate to write me. My whole goal with all this stuff is to help artists out that are struggling. So so that's our link, and I'm going to X out of that real quick. All right, so let's take this image out of here and get a little bit more room. These type styles up here, if you're wondering how there's a gradient in there, obviously see my typography or my gradient tutorial. But this typography up here, the welcome to SaveRealEstate.org, is outlined, so it's not actual type anymore. I mean, it is type, but it's actual shapes. So within those shapes, I do have gradients, and I did that by if I select both of these and I do a gradient, you're gonna see that it's gonna gradate through the whole entire thing. Okay, if we go like that. So if we back up a little bit, you see the blacks on the top, the dark on the top, the light on the bottom, dark on the top, light on the bottom. You're just gonna have to do these one at a time. So you're gonna have to select the welcome to. Don't select the bottom line, and you're gonna have to work with that through there. You can make that gradient completely different from the one on the bottom, as long as you're not selecting them at the same time. Back to that's really what type. It's basic with type on it. This image in the background, if you were wondering where the rest of that image went, it's in a clipping mask, which I do have another tutorial about. Check that out. It's very, very helpful. You're going to want to double click this, and if you want to see what's, take this out of the clipping mask, you would hit Control, click, and then release clipping mask. Or let me back up, or you could select it and come up to Object Clipping Mask, Release. All right, and that's going to release it, and it's going to show you that this guy right here is that image that I did in Photoshop. I did skew it, not skew it, I did rotate it a little bit because it was just working with everything a lot better. I didn't like the fact that I believe I wanted it, yeah, the house kind of looked like it was on an angle anyway in the picture, so that's why I did it. But it's cool because this flower bed is like a duplication of that, but you really couldn't tell. It just looks like a really cool landscaping job. And then the rest of this was done in Photoshop. And I actually darkened the sky just a little bit, just to make the type stand out just a little bit in certain areas. And next, these, all right, I wanted to talk about these bars on the top because I am huge into gradients, and I believe they make everything look a lot better. So as opposed to a solid color, the way that I make my gradients most of the times, you can look through my portfolio, and this is my style. I have my own style. You will develop your own style eventually, and you know what? If you do a lot of the same things all the time and you're still producing awesome artwork and people are still happy and you're still getting referrals and you're getting paid off of it, keep doing what you're doing. But obviously along the way, you're going to learn more techniques and you're going to introduce them into your artwork where they're needed. So I do a lot of these gradients where I take one color and, we'll change this up a sec just so you can kind of see this. I redo it real quick. Let me go to my swatches, open up my swatch library, my CMYK in there. All right. Say I take this red swatch, okay? I hit the gradient because you got to have a gradient in there first. And I add red there, and I add that same red on the other side, but then I pull the black up, maybe about 30%. It's once you start to resample this gradient, you can do all types of cool stuff with that. So you can have the light red on the top, the dark red on the bottom. Play with this tool so it smooths a little bit more together. Do whatever you have to do. So that's how I like to make my gradients. In this case, that's how I made the blue gradient, and then I separated with these white bars. They're just basic boxes with white because it makes it look nice. Down here, it looks like there's actually a shadow under there, but there's not. It's the black on the top going to the blue. Let me zoom in on that. You see how it could look like a shadow, and it gives it like a 3D effect. That's always going to help. On the typography, I decided not to put any kind of drop shadows because drop shadows look nice, but they're not always, the best thing to use. Especially in that case, you're going to see a lot of pixelation. And even if I added a white border to kind of separate out the word, I mean, that looks cool, but it's just like it's making it more playful than serious. So, and to keep the continuity of everything else, with these blue bars on the top, there's blue shutters in the house, the sky is blue, that's the dominant color in this. I decided to use the blue in here, and I really didn't want to make it look all crazy with other things going on. So, there's no need, obviously, to add bleed on this because it is a web banner. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come up to Object. Well, come to Document Setup first, just so you can see. My document, the width of this banner they needed was 720 pixels by 300 pixels. When you're dealing in web stuff, it's always about pixels, okay? So it's 720 pixels by 300 high. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go to Object and Crop Area Make, because that's going to contain my document when I want to save this for web. And you can either go to File, Save for Web and Devices, or you can hit, let me do this, Shift, Option, Command, and then the letter S. And that's going to save for web. And just let this pop up. And now there's a couple options in here, all right, in the Save for Web. And you can make the image larger. You can constrain the proportions, so you can take this to like 900 and apply that, and it got a little bit bigger. Oh, there it is. But we're gonna go back to 720, which was the size of it. And you can either set this as a JPEG, a GIF file, PNG. I stick with JPEGs, especially use a JPEG when you're saving for web and you're using an image. An actual photographed image. So if you look down here, it's going to show you the JPEG is 203K, and that means that it's a small image and it's going to load quickly on a website. So PNGs tend to make that a lot smaller, but you're going to lose quality. If you look at that image, look at the gradient in the background. Depending on what kind of screen you have, you might not see this. Come up here, it's only 256 colors as a PNG file. As a JPEG, you're going to get, I would say, millions of colors on this. So I'm going to go back again. PNG, watch the sky. You're going to see it turn pixelated because it's not reading as many colors. And that's what makes the file size a lot smaller. But, I mean, if you're only a couple 100K, that image is going to load nice and quick on your website with the way that internet speeds are today. And then you can set the quality. So if you even want to lower that JPEG size just a little bit, come down here. But don't go too much, because as you start going, you're going to see what happens. You see, look at the banner now. It looks like shit. So let's increase this a little bit more to 100%. And that's going to change. Well, it should change. Hold on one second. There we go. So, and then we're going to save it, and we're going to save it without any spaces, and try to save it, especially if you're saving stuff for web. Keep it lowercase and keep it something that it's going to you're going to recognize, because if you go, all right, go to my website and to find this image, go to .com. Seville banner, and the S is capitalized, and they don't know that image, that link is going to come up denied. It's going to say there's nothing at this path. So so that's a tip for when you're saving images for web. Make sure try to make sure they're all lowercase, because that's how we usually type, and make sure there's no spaces, because then that's going to give you an error if you're using it in a web address. So let's back out for a second, and I believe that's it. So you guys got any questions on web banners? They can completely enhance your website and make people want to come back there more. A bad designed web banner is going to turn people away from your site, because they're going to know in their head, with the way that we see things today and the marketing that comes in our mail every single day and what we are subjected to every single day when watching TV on computers, when they see something that's crappy looking, they're going to know it right away, and that's going to be a complete reflection on your company and your quality. So that's it, guys. Steve here, graphicdesignertips.com. Visit us. Leave comments, suggestions on new tutorials. And that's it. Have a good night. Peace.